Hey everyone, this is a follow-up video to my original video, Fix the Phillies. Just to give you a brief synopsis here, I'm playing Out of the Park Baseball 16 as the Philadelphia Phillies, taking over their GM job. Actually in the year 2016 now, I skipped ahead a little bit, so just to give you a brief synopsis of what happened in the first year. It was very uneventful. It was actually a complete disaster. It's kind of why I haven't made a new video, because it was really discouraging. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most ideal and 1 being the absolute worst case scenario, I'd probably give it around a 2. It was just a complete mess. All of my best players, Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Cliff Lee, all of them underperformed. All of them had really bad years. Cliff Lee maybe, or Chase Utley maybe the only person who had a decent year. But as you can see, even he kind of had not that great of a year. He only had 6 home runs, 42 RBIs. And on top of all the underperforming, I had no breakout years. Nobody had a breakout year at all. In fact, all the guys I was kind of depending on to maybe break out and give me a good year, Maikel Franco, Dominic Brown, Kelly Dugan, my rookies, none of them really did very much. And on the pitching side of things, as you can see here, it's kind of the same thing. A lot of my starting pitching was just absolutely abysmal. My starting pitching got so bad that I had to go out and sign Tommy Hanson. That's how desperate I got. And even my bullpen, which I kind of thought was going to be the backbone of my team, really wasn't very good. John Papelbon was plagued by injuries all year, and as you can see here, didn't really have all that great of a year. He even kind of had his own struggles, which really made me angry. Cole Hamels, who I really depended on, had an awful year. Look at that. 5.29 ERA. Absolutely, by far, the worst year of his career. Which especially stunk because I really wanted to trade him and maybe get a nice little return there and possibly offload his salary. And nobody wanted him. I could not get anybody to bite. And on top of all of that, my owner died. And my previous owner was really kind of lenient, and he gave me a lot of money to spend. He was very charitable, and meanwhile, his son took over, and his son is really tightening the reins a little bit. He hasn't given me very much money. He wants me to shed payroll, which is impossible, and he wants me to increase my profit and increase my attendance. And on top of all that, he wants me to play 500, which is next to impossible considering that my team is in disarray. So, my goal for that year, for last season, was to win 70 games. And it seems like that was unrealistic because my team was only able to win 63 games, drastically underperforming. So it was just, it was a complete mess. It was a complete mess. It was a disaster. And now I'm in the year 2016. I've skipped ahead a year, just to catch you up on some moves that I made. I traded Cody Ash to the Tampa Bay Rays. I didn't really like him very much. He was kind of blocking Maikel Franco at third base, so I swapped him for Jake Odorizzi and Alex Colomé, who I think is actually disabled right now. Yeah, Alex Colomé. Just to give me some pitching depth. Cody Ash was kind of a redundancy with Maikel Franco, so I just kind of flipped him for some pitching. Another move that I made was I acquired Tanner Roark from the Washington Nationals, and I didn't really give up much for him. The Nationals kind of just gave him to me, which was nice, but he hasn't really been pitching too well this year. He's actually been pitching pretty bad now that I look at his numbers. 5.29 ERA. So I might want to consider replacing him in the rotation. Some other moves I made. Let's see here. What else do I got? Yeah, John Papelbon I let go. I just let his contract expire. I'm letting Ken Giles close games for now. And he's actually doing pretty good. Offensively, I acquired Pedro Alvarez, which was a gigantic mistake because he got a huge raise in arbitration, which I was not expecting. His salary jumped from $5 million to $9 million. And I didn't really give up much for him. I gave up Julius Chassin, who was pitching on my team at the time, and I was just a straight swap of Chassin for Alvarez. And I needed a power bat with Ryan Howard being as terrible as he is. So it was a trade that I definitely regret making, but I think it can be rationalized. I also signed Brandon Crawford to a reasonable 1-year deal just to give me a decent defensive shortstop while I wait for my top prospect J.P. Crawford to develop. Right now J.P. Crawford is in AAA. I'm probably going to call him up in a couple of months. As you can see here, he's playing really, really well in AAA, so I might call him up in a couple months. Some other things. Kristen Norfia signed as a free agent. Jake Gobert, I took in the Rule 5 draft. That's pretty much about it. At the moment, I'm kind of just trying to let some of my contracts run out. Cole Hamels has a couple years left on his deal, so I'll have to deal with that. But Ryan Howard, he's gonna come off the table at the end of the year. So as you can see here, I actually do kind of I'll have a little bit of money to play with at the end of the year. It looks like I'll have around $30 million in free cash at the end of the year, so I'll be able to figure out what to do with that. And at the time being, I'm kind of just letting things roll out, letting my team kind of organically progress. Pitching wise, I'm improved. Adam Morgan is a prospect who's kind of come through and he's looked promising. Jake Odorizzi, Ethan Martin, same thing, another prospect who's come through and looks kind of promising, even though his stamina is pretty bad. David Buchanan is okay. Tanner Roark is okay. And I have contingency plans in AAA with this guy, Itsumura Ota, who I signed out of Japan, and he looks like he's pretty good in AAA. I might consider calling him up. And then also my plan D is Clay Buchholz, who I managed to sign to a minor league contract since he was absolutely terrible with the Red Sox in the prior season. So if things go really, really bad, he's my emergency plan there on the rotation. In terms of offense, offense is definitely my weak point. Darren Ruff, not playing very well. Nobody on my offense is really having a good year other than Chase Utley. Kristen Norfia has been okay. So J.P. Crawford is someone that I'll probably have to call up relatively soon. Kelly Dugan was on my opening day roster, and he kind of flamed out. He wasn't playing very good. And I also have Alex Hassan, who I might want to consider calling up. Of course, I also have another good prospect, Aaron Alther, who has been really disappointing at the major league level so far. So I do have some young guys who I'm planning on calling up, but it remains to be seen if that's the ideal solution at the moment. Other than that, the only other things I have going on in my franchise is I'm just trying to draft really good prospects. If I take a look here at some of the guys I have in the minors, I actually had a really good draft my last season. I drafted some really good guys. Trenton Clark, currently the #1 prospect in the entire league, actually. He looks like he's going to be really, really good. Devin Mann, another guy, 5-star prospect. He looks like he's going to be really good. If I go down the list, as you can see here, my scout really, really nailed it in the draft, and I actually got some really, really good players who I think are going to help me out in the long run. So that's promising. But a lot of those guys are really, really young. They're between 18 and 19 years old, so it's going to be a long time until they're major league ready. So at the time being, all my strategy really is to let my big contracts like Ryan Howard and Cole Hamels kind of run off the duration of their life. Develop my prospects, Maikel Franco, Aaron Nola, who's in AA, and those guys that I drafted, J.P. Crawford, of course, and some of my other guys, Matt Imhoff, and kind of just focus on bringing some of my prospects through the levels in a very, very slow and methodical fashion, and then gradually work them into the major league roster as opportunities arise. So my focus kind of is on building from within, developing top prospects, and trying to get the most out of my major league talent as possible. Current year objective for me personally is probably to win around 70 games. I'm hoping to make another video at some time around the All-Star break. If not, if things go really, really bad and nothing interesting really happens, like with the last season, that I'll probably just I'll probably just upload a new video at the end of the year, and maybe kind of just go over give you a brief summary of what happened, and kind of maybe just give you a little synopsis of my off season, and then kind of take things from there. Thank you for watching.